Okay, before we begin here, I should probably explain. Obviously, a lot of work has gone into Jurassic Park Week. I've been spending weeks and weeks and weeks on this, immersed in everything from asteroid impacts to zoological systems to give you my look at the Jurassic Park experience. Well, we can't say for sure what went wrong, but something must have because... You want to explain it?
Not talking, busy.
All right. I've, of course, also spent a lot of time studying cloning, and funny story...
No, not really.
Now, there are two of me. Us. No, I did not clone myself. That would be ridiculous. I was attacked by a cyborg enemy who split us into SF Debris Red and SF Debris Blue. Well, crisis or not, we are professionals and are going to get the review of Jurassic Park done as planned. Problem is, we can't agree on what to say, and we've both worked so hard on it, we've decided, damn it, we'll both do our own reviews.
Now I'm doing the review, you're acting like a Philistine.
Now I know why Riker shot his double. So we kick off our film with representatives of the "and you think your job sucks" society, standing in a hot, humid jungle waiting for a chance to try to shove the most deadly creature on Earth into a pen against its will, while most of you are armed with non-lethal weapons. Personally, I'd trank the shit out of it and drop it in the top of the pen and call it a night. Instead, the critter hits the wall, and because the cage has wheels but not brakes, soon has the chance to snatch a worker, which quickly blows our X days without a workplace accident streak. In the wake of that, Gennaro, a lawyer concerned about this tragic loss of life, only in that it means a big fat lawsuit, pays a visit to some guys in an amber mine to prove how overdressed he is. He's primarily here to deliver a package of exposition about needing experts to sign off on just how safe our park filled with genetically engineered killing machines is. Sure, people will be lining up for the chance. With that, we hop over to the mentioned Dr. Alan Grant, digging up a velociraptor skeleton. In between declaring war on the Earth itself. Thanks to this blast, the computer is able to show them the site without digging it up, prompting Grant to give a lecture about birds that makes a kid who's very clear that he's not happy to be here call the dinosaur a turkey, though forgetting to stick the word jive in front of it to fully sound like a 70s TV show. Grant takes umbrage at this, and because pushing the kid over wouldn't be scarring enough, he describes in graphic detail how Velociraptor would hunt down and devour him.
He slashes at you here, or here, or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines. The point is, you are alive when they start to eat you.
I see a great deal of bedwetting in this child's future. With Dr. W.C. Fields finished spreading joy around the camp, a helicopter arrives, causing a panic, possibly because of the damage the blades will cause to the fossils, and possibly because they fear Child Protective Services has finally caught up with Grant. The helicopter has delivered the previously mentioned John Hammond, who, as a gajillionaire, has flown out here into the Badlands to raid their refrigerator. But since he finances the dig, I guess they should be happy he's not digging through Ellie's panty drawer right now. He explains that he needs them to check out his biological preserve to tell everyone that it's all fine, and in return he'll keep paying them to fire bullets into the ground and terrify children. With that financial arrangement out of the way, let's head to another one between Dennis Nedry and...
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here! See, nobody cares.
This is exactly what happened to Dodgson when his wife took him to TGI Fridays for his birthday. He's bribing Nedry to steal embryos to stick in this shaving cream can for science. But there's a limited window for it. Nedry has to get them to Dodgson's agent on a boat, or else the coolant will run out and the embryos will all die, and with them, the rest of Nedry's $1.5 million. Oh, this was back when $1.5 million was a lot of money, which means this movie came out 10 minutes ago.
Don't get cheap on me, Dodson.
Oof, all of that? Lucky thing Dodgson brought the second bag. After meeting mathematician Ian Malcolm, you can see why the ladies love him. We finally get a chance to arrive at Hammond's magical island. Damn, I know you're bad with computers, but they're not much below latch on the tech tree, so one of your pants aren't constantly falling off. Fortunately, they stick the landing and head off in Hammond's Jeep for the big surprise, an actual brachiosaur walking around.
It's a dinosaur.
Yes, that's my brachiosaur, and over there are my hadrosaurs, and here's where I keep assorted lengths of wire, and...
How fast are they?
Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
But a lot of credit has to go to the jockey. To give them answers on how they have 100-million-old creature eating all their trees, Hammond brings them to the visitor center to explain the science behind what they do. The science is somewhat streamlined since, well, it's based on a Crichton book, so it's going to have to be unless we want Lord of the Rings of Jurassic Park. But it is notable that Spielberg does make a real effort here to treat the science as science and not a magic wand. He still did whatever he thought would make for a better movie, but the film made a concerted effort to put the science in science fiction whenever possible. It was a film that respected your intelligence.
What? Oh, Mr. DNA, where did you come from?
See, he didn't even break out puppets.
And gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes. And virtual reality displays show our geneticists the gaps in the DNA sequence.
Lucky thing he's wearing that hood so he doesn't get any virtual reality on his face. After explaining about the amber and the frogs and all that good stuff, they can head to where the magic's actually happening. Scientists and technicians making dinosaurs. Well, the experts are not here on vacation, so they break the roll bars to head inside and get some answers about all of this. And they even get a chance to watch a dinosaur actually hatch from an egg. Although as someone who has seen the trailer for Alien, I can't help but feel a little nervous at that cracking egg. Still, when it does emerge, it is really cute. I'd want to take one home for me, and I know it's a killing machine. But the cuteness of baby dinosaurs is limited to this room.
And how do you know they can't breed? Well, because all the animals in Jurassic Park are female.
Scientific and totally hot. Ian is incredulous, though, and makes his famous remark that life finds a way. Well, life, finds a way, but we all remove the when we translate from Jeff Goldblum into English. Well, at least Grant can appreciate all of this.
What species is it?
It's a velociraptor.
We bred raptors.
Kill it! Kill it with fire! So the next stop on the tour is to see the velociraptors in their pen.
What are they doing?
Oh.
Feeding them.
They did the same thing for Brando when making Apocalypse Now. Oh, sorry, that's the Tasmanian devil cage. Muldoon swings by to make clear, as bad as you think this is? Nah, it's even worse than that. They're like RPG munchkins who have min-maxed with jumping, speed, intelligence, opposable thumbs, pack hunting strategies. Don't be surprised if they wind up escaping by throwing a fireball. At lunch, Gennaro makes clear that he's convinced everything is fine. I don't know what it is, but something about him reminds me of Fredo. Sometimes I check IMDb just to make sure that it hasn't somehow been corrected when I wasn't looking. This is where Ian's arguments from the novel are put together and, thankfully, condensed. First by boiling down the discipline speech to the point that, by earning the knowledge of how to do this so quickly, they didn't learn to respect the power that it carries. Second, with the issue of scientific ethics being especially relevant with genetic engineering, you are creating new living things after all. And thirdly, his comment poo-pooing the act of discovery for its intentional disruptive aspect. These are all debatable ideas, certainly, which Actually, Blue,
Yes?
why don't we give this some consideration?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Why don't we tackle that first one about discipline?
Sounds good. Come over here. Now, Crichton's point is that the power wielded here is power that is unearned. That is only possible by building upon the works of others, letting you skip past all of the hard stuff and go straight to the prize. I'm not sure I agree with that. Ian's remark is, you didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, but getting a doctorate sure seems like earning it to me. But his point, though, is that all they're doing is learning from the work of others, not acquiring the knowledge for themselves. And hence, they don't give that knowledge the appropriate respect because they went straight from the question to the answer without having to work in order to determine the answer for themselves. I disagree. Crichton gives the example of a martial arts master as someone who has earned his power, but he's hardly invented kung fu or karate or whatever it is, merely mastered what he was taught by others. Or she. Yes, or she. But I always think of Mr. Miyagi. Point is, though, a martial arts master earns his knowledge from others the same way that a person with a PhD earned it from others. In fact, I'd go so far as to argue the PhD has put in more effort because they have not only learned from others, but must build something new upon the framework of others and then be capable of defending that against experts. I'm not a black belt, but I'm fairly certain that getting one doesn't require you inventing a new type of kick and being able to defeat 5 assailants at once with it. Well, perhaps. But even if that analogy doesn't hold up, he does make the point that gaining power without adequately earning it is like inherited wealth, that people who get the power of family money, they're usually pricks. Well, that's not a very good example. Crichton earned his money, and then he proceeded to name a character after one of his critics, says the character was in the same profession as the critic, lived in the same city as the critic, and then said the character raped a baby. Seemed that Crichton did a good job of proving you don't have to inherit your wealth to become a prick. Well, maybe it's just the analogies are getting in the way of the real point of all of this, though. The power to alter organisms is the power to alter something we may not entirely understand. That's not alarmism, that's just honesty. Yes, but if we never work with it, we will never understand it. Maybe it would be better if we didn't then. No, I don't agree. Understanding could allow us to possibly cure cancer or improve longevity, any number of things. Right, like genetically alter our children to suit our whims. Okay, I won't lie, that is a scary thought. Especially when you realize that individual countries can do what they like. If China started creating super children, do you honestly think that other countries would do nothing? And those who couldn't afford to do that, do you think the economic and power differential is bad now? How will the developing countries ever hope to catch up when we are breeding genetically engineered children? I can't argue with you, that's a scary thought, but at the same time, do you want to have to tell a parent that their child is going to die of cancer because we're too scared to study genetics? No, but all these are questions that are too large for any one person to have the right answer to. But where are we going to find the answers out there? And besides which, can't enough money buy enough people to ignore the ethics to do whatever they like anyway? Even if the countries are passing laws, it's not like rich people are famous for never breaking the law ever and getting away with it. Okay, well, sure, but this all moves beyond the discipline argument anyway. If I was rich enough, I could also buy enough martial arts masters to be willing to kill for me. So again, there's no distinction there. But that was half of Crichton's point in the novel, that while the scientists had no discipline, the rich who hire them have even less. So even if we did conclude that scientists are not lacking in the wisdom that a martial arts master gains, that wisdom allows them to respect the power that they wield, it's the fact that people who don't respect that power can find a way to acquire it by getting people desperate enough to forget ethical considerations and use that power for them. Okay, so yeah, it's not that Dr. Wu wasn't highly disciplined in attaining the knowledge that created these dinosaurs, but that John Hammond, the guy who signs his checks, doesn't. So it really ties back to Crichton's contempt for scientists working with industry. which I think we can agree is an entirely different topic. So we probably should just end this here. Agreed. So what now? Now I'm going to show a clip of an old man rubbing a dinosaur's testicles. What? It's got Ringo Starr in it, too.